Hello, everybody. It's just my week number one recap of my ongoing experiment. Um, and I'll be honest, I had no expectation that I would have any success early on. Probably first couple months, I don't expect much of anything. I didn't have anything significantly interesting this week, other than well, nothing that I would say was definitive proof of anything, but some things that were interesting. I won't say it wasn't interesting. So this week I'm really just going to kind of go over the process and what I'm doing as far as um, and I'll just run through really quickly. I've always been meditating anyway, about twice a week for the last several years anyway. It's just my meditations have varied. So over the next year, I've been focusing on my meditations. Just the only purpose for them is really just to clear my mind. And the reason for that is that I feel like with a clear mind, I can get a good signal to noise ratio, I guess. Or signal to noise signal, I guess. So when I am trying to communicate, um, I'm doing so more effectively and without the monkey mind kind of chatter that's going on typically if you don't kind of practice on clearing the mind out. So in the morning, I usually I find that for me most of the time the morning is a little more clear, and it's kind of to be expected because you get up in the morning after you know after sleeping, and you haven't built up all of the worrisome type of thoughts or that you build up throughout the day. And so anyway, I usually clear my mind, and then immediately after that meditation, then I go into uh, about a 10-minute process of really just trying to communicate, or at least trying to see if there is any type of communication going on, um, and just trying to kind of, I guess, in my own strange way of kind of looking around in this um, void type of area, I guess. I don't know really how to describe it, but when you're in that point consciousness type of state, um, you're just a point of consciousness, and you're just trying to communicate during in that state. Um, and then at nighttime before I go to bed, I also do another meditation where I just try to clear my mind before going to sleep. So that's really the whole process. That's all I'm really doing, and I'll just kind of run through the week on just the things that I did. First day, I didn't really have any verbal communication, but I did have like a vision of Jesus and Mary, and it was in some type of portrait. I don't really know what that means. Second day, there was really nothing much to report. My daughter actually was up earlier, and she was crying, so it wasn't anything. Third day was the most interesting because I did have a very faint voice that said, I don't know anything. Because again, as I was communicating, I'm trying to identify myself, ask for guidance from any consciousness that could help me to grow as a as a conscious being. And so I did get a voice that just said, I don't know anything. And but unfortunately, without really being able to speak further to this voice. There's no way to really know if that was just coming from myself or from another entity or anything. So just nothing more than just something interesting that I got out of that. Next day there was nothing other than, what was it? Oh, that was the other thing that was interesting. I had a faint vision of people working on my mouth or something on the next day, and I just thought that was kind of, for me, just kind of interesting. You know, it's just something that I got. The next day was very quiet. There was nothing much more to report. The next day got very focused. At the end of my meditation, I noticed that that I was kind of wandering around in the void, and I would actually come into places where I just it seemed like it was like walled off places. But I was really focused at that point. I was really looking around and everything. But again, nothing much more to report on that. And then this morning, I think it was just, there was nothing to report. So again, a lot of nothings. You know, a few things that were interesting, but nothing of real significance. And again, like I said, I don't expect anything for several weeks. If I do, I'll actually surprise myself. So I do know, I mean, as I stated in my last video, I expect this to be a long process and a lot of failures that I'm sure that I will go through. But these videos that I'm posting are trying to avoid the frustration that would kind of naturally occur after you just don't have success for a while. So this is kind of forcing me to do it anyway, to continue to do it despite the failures, and to kind of work through it. So that's it. So for this week, and I'll again see you next week. Take care.